I was a poor kid shackled by the debt of gratitude I owed the Miller family, forced to marry the city's most dramatic, most hateful rich girl. For 10 years, she humiliated me in front of everyone, threw other men at me to test my limits, and used me as her personal emotional punching bag. Even her own mother called me a curse. And then there was Ethan, the boy I had treated like my own little brother, daring to wrap his arms around her on a yacht while announcing to the cameras that he had betrayed me for her sake. But none of them realized I had already drawn up divorce papers. I wasn't waiting for her to have a change of heart. I was waiting for the debt that had saved a life to finally be repaid by my own hands. All because old Mr. Harrison owed the Miller family a life. Mrs. Miller cashed in that life debt and forced old Mr. Harrison to give me his granddaughter Olivia as my wife. But throughout 10 years of marriage, she never once stopped loathing me. To get rid of me, she was willing to do the craziest things imaginable. I turned into the laughingstock of our entire social circle. Olivia would pat my cheek with that teasing smirk and say, "You asked for this yourself, Lucas. Just accept it." Everyone assumed I would cling to Olivia forever, and she believed it too. That was until the one person I trusted most drove a knife right through my back. In that instant, something inside me snapped. When I slid the divorce papers in front of her, a wave of relief I had never felt before surged through me. I even laughed. Finally, I told myself this ridiculous marriage could finally be over. When I stepped onto the yacht, the party was already in full swing, music and laughter blending into a chaotic symphony. In the middle of the crowd stood Olivia in an almost completely backless gown, draped across a man. The sight of that man's silhouette sent a chill straight down my spine. Olivia was perched sideways on his lap, moving with deliberate sensuality, tracing one long finger slowly down the line of his neck. Men and women all raised their champagne glasses, the catcalls coming from every direction, chanting, "Kiss her, kiss her." Ethan Miller tilted his head back, looking like he was dying to close the distance right then and there. Olivia narrowed her eyes, scanning the crowd, a sly smile curling at her lips. She pointed lazily in my direction and said, "Look over there. Your best friend is watching." Everyone turned to look, the noise cutting off abruptly and giving way to a ripple of knowing laughter. Then someone broke the silence, drawling out, well, isn't that the devoted, loving husband?" The crowd immediately jumped in with excited jeers. Ethan glanced at me, but his arm stayed wrapped tight around Olivia's waist, showing no sign of pulling back. I clenched my fists, my eyes boring into him, feeling as though my heart was being cut out, throbbing with pain. I never imagined Ethan would betray me. He was the one I had considered family. Out of everyone, I had picked him, believing he was the most dependable, the one most worthy of my trust. I wanted to scream, wanted to ask him why. But not now, and not here in front of everyone. Ethan lifted his gaze to me, a slow smile spreading across his face. "Isn't this the very thing you've always wanted to see?" He turned to Olivia and said, "I betrayed him for you. I chose you. Can you love me now?" The crowd buzzed again, everyone waiting for the drama to unfold. My marriage to Olivia had always been a joke. She openly did whatever she pleased, swapping men as easily as changing outfits, never lasting more than a week with any of them. Only this time, the man beside her was exactly the one I had trusted most in the world. I ignored Ethan and kept my eyes on Olivia, my face so calm it was almost dead, my voice cold. The dock is swarming with paparazzi, just waiting for this yacht to pull in. "Olivia, come down with me." She tilted her head and deliberately dragged out her answer, pretending to think. "No." Ethan jumped at the chance, pulling her closer against him and flashing me a smug, taunting smile. The yacht edged closer to the dock, and from a distance, telephoto lenses were already locked on us, shutters clicking like crazy, flashes sweeping across the scene without mercy. My knuckles went white, my fingernails sinking deep into my palms. They had already gotten the shots they came for. I could already picture how the Harrisons would come down on me. Then Olivia's voice cut through, dripping with mockery, right next to my ear. "Lucas, having a good time watching?" Those old vultures in the family won't go easy on you. Why not just divorce me? I could help you with that. I clenched my jaw, forcing the words out. Olivia, do you actually want a divorce? In 10 years, it was the first time I had seriously considered it. The teasing smile vanished from Olivia's face, her eyes darkening, growing complicated. Before she could speak, I went on, then let's get a divorce. It felt as though I had waited 10 whole years to finally speak those words aloud. The moment the words came out, it was as if I had been cut loose, finally free. Things that aren't mine to keep, I'll never hold on to anyway. All those emotions I had buried for years finally found their way out, seeping through the cracks. Lucas, are you serious? Ethan's voice was barely containing his excitement, practically spilling over. But then Olivia's hand on his arm suddenly clenched, her nails digging into his skin. Ethan winced and sucked in a breath. Ow! A look of surprise flashed across his face, and he muttered under his breath, Olivia, you're hurting me. But Olivia didn't seem to hear him at all, her eyes never leaving me. For the first time in 10 years, she shoved Ethan aside and walked straight toward me. See that, Lucas? I could see the cruel amusement in her eyes. She had done it on purpose. She knew exactly what Ethan meant to me, and she understood completely that if she let the paparazzi capture those shots and blow up the scandal, I would be the only one left holding the bag. Olivia had tried every trick in the book to force me to agree to a divorce. Without changing my expression, I reached out and took her hand. Let's go. Olivia laughed mockingly. I had grown so used to that tone that I simply let the laughter roll off me like nothing. As the live-in son-in-law of the Harrison family, I always had to keep up the act of a polite, well-mannered husband, never letting even a hint of frustration show. But that life was about to end soon enough. The moment we reached the shore, I pulled my hand away, but she grabbed it right back, lacing her fingers tightly through mine, her voice still taunting. If you're going to act the part, Lucas, commit to it. Don't bail halfway. The paparazzi are still watching. I frowned and looked out the car window. Fine. Let her do whatever she wants. We drove home in complete silence. The moment the door shut, she rose on her toes, looped her arms around my neck, and leaned an inch by inch. In a low amber light, I could see clearly the playful mischief gleaming in her eyes. I was completely drained, body and soul. Olivia, I said quietly, I don't want this. Then I pushed her away. Olivia pressed back against me, gave my collarbone a little nip like she was teasing me, and scoffed. The Harrison son-in-law. Those old fossils actually still want you to give me a baby, thinking that would make me behave. I went stiff. That phrase she kept throwing at me, the Harrison son-in-law, was like a club beating down on me, reminding me of my place in that family. Those chains were my own doing. I had put them on myself, so I had no right to call it quits. All I could do was swallow it over and over. But now everything was different. The only reason I had kept compromising had betrayed me. I had nothing left to lose. For the first time in my life, I pushed Olivia away cleanly, without hesitation. Olivia, I don't have to be the Harrison's son-in-law anymore. She froze for a second, then locked her sharp eyes on me. Lucas Anderson, are you actually serious? My heart lurched. I'm giving you everything you want. Isn't that a good thing? I've been holding on to you for 10 years. You're exhausted, and so am I. Let's just set each other free. Before the words even faded, Olivia was glaring at me with fury. She reached out and clamped her hand around my throat, squeezing tighter and tighter. I didn't flinch. I met her eyes. After a few seconds of deadlock, she finally spoke, her voice burning with rage. Lucas, are you trying to play hard to get now? Too bad. I'm not falling for it. Then she shoved me away, spun around, and stormed off without so much as a glance back. I stood there frozen, watching her walk away, my heart a mess of confusion. Wasn't this what she had always wanted? I laid the path right in front of her. So why was she getting angry? The door slammed shut with a bang, shaking me back to reality. Either way, my mind was made up. But every time I thought of Ethan, a dull ache still spread through my chest. My phone buzzed again. I pulled it out of my pocket and let my thumb hover over the screen for a moment before finally opening the conversation with Ethan, The window that had been blowing up with new texts. Lucas, you know everything now. So just give Olivia to me. You have been with her for 10 years, and she doesn't love you. So why not give me a chance? Maybe she will fall for me. I know it is wrong to go after your brother's girl, but I really cannot help myself. The first day you introduced her to me, I was already lost. I tried to stay away from her, but you were always bringing her around. It is not like I was trying to get close to her. You forced me into this. The more I read, the worse the ache in my chest became. This was the person I had once trusted more than anyone. A bitter laugh scraped out of my throat. Ethan, I was wrong about you. From the very start, I had you all wrong. You want her that badly? Fine. Take her. I typed out those 2 lines and hit send. From that moment on, whatever remained between us was completely finished. He betrayed me for a woman. But in the end, I had only myself to blame for trusting the wrong person. That night, I did not sleep a wink. I barely made it to morning, and when I looked in the mirror, my eyes were bloodshot and puffy. I pressed an ice pack over them for a long time before the swelling finally subsided a bit. For a few minutes, my mind went completely blank. Then the thought of the battle ahead today hit me, and I rushed to grab my phone. I opened the trending page, and sure enough, last night's scene was already the top headline. In the photos, Olivia was practically glued to Ethan, their poses so intimate it looked like they would kiss at any moment, and there I was standing right across from them. The comment section was a complete disaster. Lucas Anderson is way too generous. Is he basically handing his wife over to his best friend himself? Wife sharing? You have it all wrong, haha. It is obviously the rich heiress hitting on her husband's best friend. Total chaos. This Harrison heiress really knows how to stir things up, flirting with her husband's friend right in front of him while he stands there like a piece of the furniture. Incredible. Was savage, LOL. Olivia Harrison is literally the queen of no limits. She will do anything. Is no one going to feel bad for Lucas? Getting stabbed in the back by his wife and his best friend at the same time? Who could take that? Stop making excuses for him. He had it coming. Olivia never wanted to marry him. If he had not used that old debt of gratitude to threaten old Mr. Harrison, would a princess ever look twice at a nobody? Clinging to a rich heiress with no dignity left, still not divorcing after all this mess. It is just sad and pathetic. Honestly, this is clearly Olivia's fault, but every single one of you is attacking Lucas. No one says anything about her and that sleazy guy, but you all act like Lucas is the villain. Have you all lost your minds? Let's be honest here. One was willing to take it. One was willing to dish it out. We are just bystanders here to watch the drama. Grab your popcorn and move on. The internet was exploding, the argument growing more heated by the minute. But it did not last long. That trending topic suddenly vanished. Clearly, the Harrison family's PR team had gotten involved. I heard movement from the foyer. Olivia was back. She gave me a dismissive glance. Report to the old mansion in half an hour. I nodded, knowing full well that what was coming would come eventually. The Harrison family rule was that everyone had to return to the old mansion every weekend. No exceptions. If you dared to skip it, you would face the consequences. Even Olivia, rebellious as she was, had never dared to break that rule. Lucas Anderson, good luck to you. A smirk played on her lips, her voice thick with smug satisfaction. When we got to the Harrison mansion, Olivia did not even bother with appearances. She left me standing there and walked into the main hall by herself. By the time I entered, she had already made her grandmother smile from ear to ear. Grandmother. I stepped forward to greet her as expected. The old lady responded coolly, then said, "Your in-laws are waiting for you in the study." Understood. I nodded, though I knew exactly what awaited me. And the one responsible for all of this, Olivia, just stood there with her self-satisfied smirk, not even bothering to glance my way. The second I stepped into the study, Mrs. Harrison, Olivia's mother, raised her hand and slapped me across the face, snapping my head to the side. A faint taste of blood immediately filled my mouth. She casually blew on her hand, then instantly transformed back into that elegant, dignified society matron. Mrs. Harrison fixed me with a cold stare, each word thick with contempt. "Lucas, you have been a tremendous disappointment. You cannot even keep your own wife's heart, and you still think you are fit to be a Harrison's son-in-law. If I had known it would come to this, I never would have let the old man give Olivia to you. You are nothing but a curse. I lowered my head, my hands balling into fists without thinking. Lucas, if you still cannot make Olivia love you even now, then you should just divorce her already and stop dragging this out. I snapped my head up, my eyes blazing with clear resolve. Fina, we will divorce. Mrs. Harrison froze, her face a mask of disbelief. Olivia's father, Mr. Harrison, frowned as well and asked, with some uncertainty, "Are you serious?" "Completely serious." My voice did not waver. Mr. Harrison waved his hand, signaling me to leave first. Standing outside the study door, I could hear their conversation filtering through. Honestly, Olivia is the one who caused all this chaos. Why do you put all the blame on him? Mr. Harrison sighed. Who else is there to blame? Mrs. Harrison's voice pitched higher, brimming with bitterness. Before she married him, she never did anything this insane. If you had not forced her to marry a man she did not love, would she have turned out like this? You have no idea how much she is suffering. Mr. Harrison looked at her, exhaustion heavy in his voice. Do you not know your own daughter? Or are you just pretending? If she truly did not want this, who could possibly force her? Now look what is happening. Lucas wants to divorce her. Just wait and see. This is going to blow up. Mrs. Harrison hesitated. How could that be? If she actually loved Lucas, why would she still pull all that nonsense? Then let her keep it up. Eventually, she will push him away for good. How could that be possible? Someone like Olivia Harrison would ever fall for me? I turned and walked away, heading down the corridor. At the end of the hallway, Olivia was leaning against the wall waiting, arms crossed, a half-smoked cigarette between her fingers. I planned to walk straight past her without saying anything, but she caught my wrist, her fingers grazing the reddened side of my face. She clicked her tongue softly. That is it. That punishment seems way too light. Her low voice held a lazy laugh, but her emotions were impossible to read. I looked at her, my face calm. I already mentioned the divorce to your parents. She paused, took a drag, and spoke sharply. What did they say? I shook my head. Nothing. The old man was still alive, so her parents could not make the final call. Even if I wanted a divorce, I would have to wait until he got back. True. What right do they have to object? Her voice sounded indifferent, but there was a sharp edge underneath. You did all this to yourself. You deserve it. Olivia turned and walked away without looking back, leaving me alone to endure the Harrison family's self-righteous lectures on marriage and all their backhanded insults. I took it all silently, holding on to whatever dignity I had left, just waiting. After leaving the mansion, I told the driver to head to the private nursing home. As always, halfway there, the nursing home called. Mr. Anderson, it is urgent. Mrs. Miller's condition has suddenly deteriorated. Please come right away. My heart dropped, and I hurriedly called Ethan. I did not stop dialing the whole drive, redialing from the moment we left until we reached the nursing home, but no one picked up. It was only when I stood outside her room that someone finally answered. Ethan, get to the nursing home right now. Your mother is in trouble. But Ethan's voice dripped with sarcasm. Lucas, you are so generous, letting all those men around Olivia come and go. But when it's my turn, that is not okay. And now you are lying about my mother being in trouble. You think I do not know my mother's condition? If there's really a problem, isn't that what you are for? She has always liked you more than her own son anyway. Who the hell knows which one of you is her real son? Did she not set up your marriage to Olivia Harrison herself? Before I could respond, the line went dead. My grip on the phone tightened. I pushed open the door and walked into the room. The woman in the bed was so thin she was nearly skin and bones, and my eyes immediately stung. How had it come to this? Just 2 days earlier when I visited her, Mrs. Miller had been doing so much better. The nurse would not meet my eyes, looking down and stammering, I am so sorry, Mr. Anderson. I lost track of her for a moment. Mrs. Miller went online and saw the news herself. I stood there frozen. Lucas, my boy, she strained to say my name. I hurried to her bedside and took her hand. Mrs. Miller, She patted the back of my hand gently, as if she were the one comforting me, and her cloudy eyes slowly filled with tears. Mrs. Miller is apologizing to you for Ethan. This is all my fault. It is my fault I did not raise him properly. If his heart had not given out back then, you would never have had to marry Olivia Harrison. All the pain you have suffered should fall on me, his mother. The more she talked, the quicker her breathing grew. I gently wiped her tears away, keeping my voice as steady and gentle as I could. Mrs. Miller, I did all of this because I wanted to. It has nothing to do with you. Please stop blaming yourself. If you had not taken me in all those years ago, I probably would not even be alive today. Her tears came even faster, almost impossible to wipe away in time. It is the Miller family that has dragged you down, and now Ethan treats you like that. I'm so ashamed of what we have done to you. Don't you worry. I have already spoken to old Mr. Harrison and told him to let you and Olivia divorce. From now on, Lucas, you go live a good life. Do not suffer like this anymore. My eyes were so blurred with tears, I could barely see. I forced a small smile. What's suffering? Being a Harrison son-in-law is great. I have status, I have money. What is so bad about that? She stared at me for a long moment, then finally turned her face away, unable to watch anymore. After a while, Mrs. Miller spoke tentatively. Lucas, my boy, could you call my good-for-nothing son and tell him to come see me? I nodded quickly. Of course. But every call I made went straight to voicemail. I tried calling Olivia as well, but she did not pick up. Left with no other option, I called Olivia's assistant. The assistant told me that Ethan and Olivia had gone to Alaska to see the aurora borealis. The last shred of composure I had been clinging to finally shattered completely, and the tears I'd been holding back for so long fell one after another. Mrs. Miller saw my tears, and it was as though she suddenly understood everything. She managed a weak smile, so faint it was almost silent. Then let it go. Lucas, stop worrying about our family. You do not owe us a thing. Then she slowly closed her eyes, a look of peace on her face, as if she had finally been set free. I sobbed until I could barely breathe, my chest aching like it was being ripped apart. After Mrs. Miller's funeral, old Mr. Harrison personally ordered that both of them be brought back to the mansion. I stood off to the side, not moving any closer. Olivia was kneeling on the ground, and Ethan was taken under guard to stand vigil at Mrs. Miller's grave. The old man's cane came down again and again, striking Olivia's back with savage force. In the past, whenever she was hit, I would rush in front of her and take the blows myself. But this time, I stood there perfectly still. Seeing that I had resolved not to shield Olivia anymore, the old man knew my heart had finally gone cold. He kept swinging the cane until Olivia was half conscious, then said in a low, heavy voice, "Tomorrow, you too will divorce." Olivia, sprawled on the floor, jerked her head up, a flash of shock in her eyes. Then she clenched her jaw and said, "I do not agree. Why should he get to marry me and then divorce me whenever he feels like it?" The old man raised his hand and brought the cane down again. "It is not up to you. You have broken Lucas's heart, and you still expect him to come back to you." I bowed to the old man. "Thank you, grandfather." He let out a long sigh. "Olivia is the one who was wrong, not you. Go." I grabbed my already packed suitcase and walked out of the Harrison family's gate without looking back, without a single moment of hesitation. Olivia, bruised and battered, still clenched her teeth and hauled herself off the ground, stumbling out after me. She clutched my wrist with a death grip, her fingertips pale with the force, her words crashing into my chest. "Lucas Anderson, even if grandfather forces me, I will not divorce you." Her stubbornness caught me off guard, and I just stared at her, unable to speak for a moment. Olivia's lips twisted into a strained smile, but her voice was cold as ice. "You and me, Lucas, we are only going to rot together until the very end." I slowly pulled my hand away from hers and looked up at her with a flat expression. "Olivia, have you forgotten why I married you in the first place? The reason I stayed in the Harrison family is gone. I can finally end this broken marriage with you." She stood there frozen, her eyes slowly turning empty, like a puppet whose strings had been cut. Seeing her like that, I could not understand. Wasn't this the outcome she had always wanted? I had agreed to the divorce. Shouldn't she be happy? But then, her eyes slowly turned red, and she clenched her jaw, asking me word by word, "Lucas Anderson, is it true that from the very beginning to the very end, you never loved me at all?" No love. If I had never loved her, then why did I drop everything to confront every man who came near her? If I had never loved her, then why, after she casually mentioned that Mrs. Miller's grilled cheese and tomato soup were delicious, did I practice making them again and again just so I could serve them to her myself? And why did I scour every dive bar and sleazy nightclub looking for her, my eyes burning with panic? I never once said the words, "I love you," but I showed her through my actions again and again. She just never saw it. My nose stung with that familiar ache, and I forced a faint smile. "But, Olivia, the truth is, I do not love you. From now on, you go your way, and I will go mine. Do not look for me again." This time, I did not look back. I vanished from their world completely. When Ethan Miller found Olivia Harrison, she was sitting in the ruins of her walk-in closet. She had destroyed the room we had shared for 10 years, smashing it beyond recognition. Olivia glanced up at him, then looked back down. "Olivia, you finally got your wish. You and Lucas are divorced. So does that mean you can marry me now?" Ethan dropped to his knees in front of her, his eyes bright with desperate hope. In the past, Olivia might have had the energy to toy with him, to play along with his little performance. But now, she had no desire to play along. Her face was dark, her eyes boring into Ethan. You are not even half the man Lucas is. What makes you think you could ever marry into the Harrison family? Are you trying to bring up that debt again? Do not forget, the Harrisons and the Millers settled that a long time ago. Besides, I only went after you to get a rise out of Lucas. If you were not so important to him, do you honestly think I would have looked twice at you? Ethan, you have no idea, do you? The money for your heart surgery and the donor heart itself. Lucas got all of that by marrying me. All of it was to save you. You ungrateful bastard. Just the sight of you makes me nauseous. Ethan, who had been running his mouth nonstop, instantly went quiet, his lips pressed tight. All those days when his heart was failing came flooding back to him. "Ethan, I will make sure the doctors save you. Ethan, you're going to live for a very, very long time. Ethan, no matter what it costs, I will find you the best heart. Lucas, you are the best. We'll be best friends forever." Ethan's face went deathly pale. The only thing he could see in his mind was that quiet, warm presence. Every promise he had ever made to Lucas over the years, he had ended up shattering them all with his own hands. "Olivia, where's Lucas? Where did he go?" Ethan grabbed her arm, his voice frantic, but she only screamed back at him in utter collapse. "How the hell should I know? If I knew, why be hiding out here?" That day, he took his suitcase, packed up everything, and just left. He just walked away without giving me even a moment to ask him to stay. Olivia grabbed her hair in frustration and swore under her breath, "I cannot find him anywhere. Am I really going to lose him?" Her usual ice-cold composure completely shattered, and her voice trembled violently. Ethan had never seen Olivia like this before. When the weekend came, she was escorted back to the mansion by the old man's guards. Old Mr. Harrison looked at Olivia, disheveled and drowning in despair, and his brow furrowed deeply. "You were the one playing with fire, and now you're the one screaming that it burns. How did I get such a reckless granddaughter?" Before he even finished speaking, the cane cracked down across her back again. This time, Olivia's mother finally could not stand it any longer. She pulled away from her husband, Mr. Harrison's grip, threw her arms around Olivia, and stood in front of her like a shield. The old man let out a cold snort. "The way she has turned out, so spoiled and reckless. That is entirely your fault." Olivia stayed silent the whole time, letting everything rain down on her as if she had gone completely numb. That was until the old man's assistant handed him a document. "Sir, this is the divorce agreement signed by Mr. Anderson." Only then did Olivia jerk violently, a dull pain seizing her chest, her breath catching as if someone had their hand around her throat. When she took the divorce papers, she forgot how to breathe entirely. The agreement was simple. The old man gave me $10 million as a settlement. I will not sign it. Olivia shredded the papers on the spot, her face dark, and refused to say anything more. The old man laughed coldly. It is not up to you. I made a promise to Mrs. Miller. I will not let Lucas suffer another moment of humiliation. His eyes swept across the room, and everyone straightened their backs without thinking. Do not think I do not know how you treated him while I was away. None of you wanted me to force Olivia to marry him, did you? But go ahead and ask this girl yourself. Did I actually force her back then? With her rebellious streak, what could I possibly have made her do? With this disaster, if I die tomorrow, I will not have the face to meet Mrs. Miller. The old man's pent-up fury was about to boil over, and no one dared to make a sound. Old Mrs. Harrison tried to soothe him gently. Enough, enough. There is no point in talking about this now. Just let them part ways and be done with it. The old man jabbed his cane at Olivia. Look at her. Does she look like someone who will let Lucas go peacefully? Old Mrs. Harrison looked at her and then asked quietly, Olivia, child, you have to look ahead. You have already hurt Lucas once. Are you really going to block him from finding his own happiness now? If you do that, he will hate you for the rest of his life. Olivia clenched her jaw and shot back. Then let him hate me forever. That is better than him forgetting I ever existed. I told you, he and I are only going to rot together. The old man was shaking with rage. You impossible girl. Before he could finish, Olivia fell to her knees with a heavy thud. Her head bowed, her voice strained. Grandfather, please tell me where Lucas is. If you will not tell me, then at least do not stop me from going to find him. The old man glared at her, let out a harsh grunt, and said nothing more. She was his own granddaughter, after all. He could not be that cruel. Olivia understood. That meant he would no longer block her way. A surge of energy returned to her, and without wasting a single word, she turned and began her search. But no matter how hard she searched, she could not find a single trace of me. She even offered a massive reward, and the internet immediately went wild. She used to treat him like a fool. Now she's the one getting played. Enjoy the chase, sweetheart. Olivia stayed curled up at home almost all day, only to realize that I seemed to be everywhere. Every corner still held my shadow. Only then did she truly understand that I had become an inseparable part of her life. All those small details she had never bothered to notice now felt like needles stabbing into her. The way I loved her had been hidden in countless small, ordinary moments, and she had missed every single one. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. How could I have been so blind? Lucas, I was wrong. I finally understand how much you love me. Please come back. I miss you so much. Olivia drank one glass after another until she was dead drunk. Every night, after waking from her drunken stupor, she would lock herself alone in our room and piece by piece, desperately try to repair everything she had destroyed in her anger. When people feel most helpless, they lose their minds, smashing and destroying things. Then, once they calm down, they try to put all the pieces back together. But they forget that even when you fix something broken, the cracks are always there. Hearts are the same. No matter how carefully you piece them back together, those cracks do not just vanish. Something that has been broken can never truly go back to the way it was. About 3 months after Mrs. Miller died, on the anniversary of her memorial service, I bought a beautiful bouquet of flowers and went to the cemetery to honor her. Her newly placed headstone, battered by wind and rain, had already grown a thin layer of moss. A thought crossed my mind. No matter how much history people have between them, in the end, all we leave behind are graves. Some stand outside the grave, some lie inside it. On and on it goes. In the end, everyone returns to the ground. Since that is how it all ends, why hold on so tightly? Why cling to love, hate, obsession, and bitterness as if they were everything? Let time wash it all away. I stood before the grave for a long time, until I heard a voice behind me. Lucas. 2 voices, one male and one female, spoke my name at nearly the same time. Olivia ran faster, reaching me in just a few strides. Lucas, I knew you would come to the cemetery today. Ich glänzte her. Maybe it was because I had not seen her in so long, but she had lost a lot of weight. She looked exhausted, with dark circles under her eyes that stood out starkly against her pale face, almost impossible to conceal. Her eyes were a little red, and she instinctively reached for my hand. I moved aside and avoided her. This is Mrs. Miller's Memorial Day. Please show some respect. Fine, whatever you say. Olivia pulled her hand back right away. Early that morning, Ethan Miller had been banging on her door. Olivia, today is my mother's memorial. Lucas will definitely come to the cemetery. She grabbed his arm, her voice frantic. Really? Yes, really. It is my mother's memorial. Lucas will be there. She muttered something under her breath, then spun around and rushed back to her room. Olivia Harrison, usually so proud and bold, was as nervous as a different person, and it made Ethan's chest ache. Olivia, have you been in love with Lucas Anderson all this time? She hesitated for a second, then acted as if she had not heard and kept walking into the room. Ethan let out a bitter laugh and mumbled so quietly it was almost inaudible. I know. Lucas is so good. Everyone who meets him ends up loving him. As he watched her walk away, the dull ache in his chest grew sharper. Just moments ago, they had seen me from a distance, standing at Mrs. Miller's grave. Lucas, I was wrong. Please do not divorce me. I will change, I swear. From now on, there will be no other man in my life but you. I did not know you loved me before, but now I know, and I looked at this woman I had once loved with every fiber of my being, but inside, I was as calm as still water, without even a single ripple. Lucas! Ethan stepped forward too, his face pale, a mixture of groveling and guilt on his features. I am sorry. I should not have betrayed you over a woman, and I should not have hurt you out of jealousy. Lucas, I was wrong. I truly know that I was wrong. Before he could finish, tears streamed down his face like a broken string of beads. He looked so helpless and pitiful. In the past, I could not stand watching him cry because Mrs. Miller had told me that when he cried like that, it meant his heart was hurting so badly he could not take it anymore. When we were children, seeing him suffer made me feel like my own heart was being wrung out. Back then, I secretly swore to protect him forever, to keep anyone from ever hurting him. But in the end, he was the one who hurt me so badly that I lay awake night after night. Lucas, Olivia has always loved you. Ever since you left, she has thought about you every single day. She has already repaired and put back together everything she destroyed in your room. Lucas, please just go back to her. Do not get divorced. Ethan kept his head lowered, his voice trembling as he spoke. I looked at the two of them for a long moment, then sighed quietly to myself. I have already moved on. This time, I am not coming back. Do not look for me again. They had once been the two most important people in my life, but they had also become the two blades that cut me the deepest. Even though I kept telling myself to let it all go, the moment I saw them, that familiar bitterness still surged in my chest. I did not want this relationship to hang over me like a shadow for the rest of my life. I still had a long life ahead of me, with so many possibilities. Lucas, no. Tell me what you want me to change, and I will change everything. Do not give up on us so easily, please. Olivia gripped my hand hard, her hold startlingly strong, as if she let go I would vanish instantly. A broken mirror, no matter how carefully you glue it back together, the cracks will always show. Olivia, we cannot go back. Lucas, is your decision really final? Ethan asked, frowning at me. I nodded twice hard. He knew that once I'd set my mind, no one could talk me out of it. Olivia's grip on my hand suddenly went slack, her pupils blowing wide. She was clearly panicking. Olivia, I've already wasted 10 years on you. I do not want to waste another moment. 10 years ago, our paths never should have crossed. Let everything go back to where it belongs. She stared at me, her eyes holding something like stubborn defiance or maybe despair. Lucas Anderson, the reason you would not divorce me before, was it because only the Harrison family could help save Ethan? You stayed with me all these years just to use my family's influence and money to save him. Is that it? What about me? After 10 years, what was I to you? Do you know how much I hated you? I hated that you never seemed to care how I felt. For 10 years, I paraded other men in front of you, testing you over and over. And what did you do? Every time you saw me with another man, you acted like it did not matter. No anger, no jealousy, not even a flicker of emotion on your face. 10 years. Your heart was as cold as ice. You were like a machine. The way you looked at me, the way you touched me, it all reminded me that you did not love me one bit. And I was the idiot who kept falling for it. Every time you showed me even a little kindness, I would go soft again. That is why I went to Ethan. I wanted to see if he could finally get some kind of rise out of you. Hearing this, my heart turned to ice. Not even the faintest trace of warmth left. Olivia was right. If not for what happened with Ethan, I might never have found the strength to leave her. I could not help but let out a quiet laugh. Olivia, you're just making up excuses now. When she heard me laugh, her face suddenly shifted. She looked at me, her eyes full of emotions she could not name. After all these years, it seems like we have never really had a real conversation. Then calm down a little and let us talk, I said with a touch of irony. Olivia was quiet, not arguing. I turned to Ethan. Today is Mrs. Miller's memorial. Go and talk to her. I did not look at him again. Olivia and I walked a little farther away. Facing the early spring breeze, I took a deep breath and started slowly. Olivia, I married you at first for the family. But later, it was because I loved you. She froze, her steps stopping abruptly. She reacted strongly, but it was clear she did not believe me. I glanced at her, a faint smile on my lips. Do you remember the year we got married? You told me yourself, do not love me. Loving me will not end well. I will never love someone as beneath me as you are. When she said that, I just stood there in silence. Back then, falling for her was effortless. But later, letting go became almost impossible. I was just, Olivia tried to explain, but her voice caught in her throat. I know, we were both young and stupid. I paused, but I believed you. Back then, her way of showing affection was like a kid pulling pigtails, nothing but teasing and torment. Either she would make such a scene at a party that everyone looked at her, forcing me to turn my head, or she would play childish pranks like swapping my water for straight vodka. That was my first time liking someone. How was I supposed to know that was her way of flirting? I shook my head with a helpless, bitter laugh. In these 10 years, my love for you has actually been fading little by little. To be honest, even without Ethan, I probably would have left someday. Olivia, no one waits around forever. Her lips went pale, her throat dry, and she could not get the words out. You know better than anyone what you have done all these years. Those scars are too deep. I cannot just pretend they never happened. 10 years of her childish chaos, her calculated cruelty, her razor-sharp words, had been more than enough to shatter any heart completely. I cried until my eyes were swollen, picking up the shattered pieces of my heart again and again, piecing them back together, only to have them destroyed once more, until finally, covered in scars, I learned to let go. As soon as I finished, Ethan walked up from behind, his eyes red. Lucas, if you cannot forgive her, does that mean you cannot forgive me either? Guilt filled his eyes. Lucas, I know everything now. You married Olivia back then for me. You saved me. You gave me a second chance. Thank you. My mother was right. You never owed the Miller family anything. We're the ones who owe you. If not for you, my mother would have passed away full of regret. I was wrong. I will spend the rest of my life making up for it. Can you forgive me? In the past, just hearing his voice crack and seeing the tears brimming in his eyes before they fell, I would have promised him anything. But now, hearing that same crying tone, I felt nothing but calm and even a little annoyed. Ethan, in this lifetime, even if I could forgive everyone else, I could never forgive you. I did not wait any longer. I turned and walked out of the cemetery with long, steady steps. I heard that later. Ethan knelt at Mrs. Miller's grave for a long time, staying there day and night, treating it as his act of atonement. Olivia never stopped looking for me either. A year later, old Mr. Harrison's assistant brought me the final divorce papers. On them, her signature was already there. This ridiculous marriage had finally come to a complete end. I left that city, opened a different door, and walked toward a completely new life. What caught me off guard was when a Miller family lawyer contacted me. He told me Ethan was dead. His heart condition had come back, and he refused treatment, trying to atone for what he had done, as if that would somehow win my forgiveness. He also left me everything he owned. I turned it down, but I went back one last time. I bought 2 bouquets. One was for him, and one was for Mrs. Miller. After I returned, I had a dream that night. Ethan was there in the dream. We just looked at each other, not saying anything. That day on the yacht, the 2 people I loved most in the world had shattered my world. That year, I lost 3 people all at once. But I managed to survive those days when I thought I would not make it. And now, I have finally welcomed my own dawn. After enduring a decade of humiliation to repay a life debt, Lucas finally realized that no amount of gratitude justifies self-destruction. And by walking away from his toxic marriage and betrayed friendship, he proved that the ultimate redemption is reclaiming one's own worth over a life of silent suffering.